to Lesson 7A, Extraordinary School for Boys. In this lesson, we are going to study the first conditional and the future time clauses with when, until, etc. in grammar. In vocab, we're going to talk about education, and then in pronunciation, the letter U sounds, okay? Let's go. Vocabulary, education. You have 2 minutes. Answer as many of questions in 1 through 8 as you can in 1 minute, okay? How many did you get right? Let's go. Pause the video. Start. Great. Let's check your answers. So these are the answers to these questions. Great. Now, in letter B, you are going to match the questions with these school subjects. Pause the video and do it. Now, let's listen and check.
4.2. 1. History. 2.
Geography.
3. Literature. 4.
Information technology.
5. Physics. 6.
Math.
7. Biology. 8.
Chemistry.
Great. Okay, let's go now together to page 161, Vocabulary Bank, and learn more words about education. Okay, starting with number 1. The school system in the US and the UK. UK stands for United Kingdom. Okay, starting here, letter A, complete the text about the US with words from this list. Pause the video and do it. Great. Let's now listen and check your answers.
4.3. Education. The school system in the US and the UK. In the US.
Many children start their education between the ages of 2 and 4 in preschool. Once a child turns 5, he or she enters the U.S. school system, which is divided into 3 levels: elementary school, middle school, sometimes called junior high school, and high school. In almost all schools at these levels, children are divided by age groups into grades. The youngest children begin in kindergarten, followed by first grade, and continue until 12th grade, the final year of high school. The school year is divided into 2 semesters. Most U.S. schools, about 75%, are public schools, which means they are supported by U.S. tax dollars and education is free. The other 25% are private schools, where parents have to pay. Many of these schools are religious schools, where the teachers may be priests or nuns. If you want to go to college, you have to apply. Admission depends on high school grades, college aptitude test scores, and extracurricular activities. A person who has completed college and has earned a degree is called a college graduate.
Great. Okay, so check the words you don't know. Now we have here the order of the words, just for you to check. Okay, now you will complete a text about the UK with the words from this list. Okay, let's go. Pause the video and do it. Great, let's listen and check.
4.4. In the UK.
Children start primary school when they are 5. Before that, many children go to nursery school. From 11 to 18, children go to secondary school. Some children go to boarding schools, where they study, eat, and sleep. School children are usually called pupils, not students, which only refers to people who are at university. And the person who is in charge of a school is called the head teacher. The school year is divided into 3 terms. Higher education is often called university.
All right. Very good. So here we have the answers for you. Check up the words you don't know, okay? You don't understand. Now you will cover both taxes with and you will try to remember the different types of schools, okay? Starting from the lowest level in both countries. Do this as a practice. Now, let's go to vocab part 2, verbs. Complete the texts with a verb from the list. Pause the video and do it. Okay, let's now listen to check your answers.
4.5 Verbs 1.
Discipline is very strict in our school. If students behave badly, for example, if they cheat on an exam, they will probably be punished and might even be suspended.
2.
Mark has to take an important English exam next week. He hopes he'll pass, but he hasn't had much time to study, so he's worried that he might fail.
Okay, and here we have the words you should have used. Fantastic. Great. Now cover the text and look at the pictures and try to remember the texts. We have an extra note about educate or bring up. So educate, to teach somebody at a school, like this example. Luke was educated at Cherry Creek High School and the University of Denver. Bring up is to take care of a child and teach him or her how to behave. This is what parents do in their houses, for example. This is usually done by parents or a family member at home. Lily was brought up by her mother in a small city. So pay attention to the difference between educate and bring up. They're different. Now, what's the difference here between learn and study? Learn is to get knowledge or a skill from somebody. I'm learning to drive right now. How long have you been learning Russian? It means somebody is teaching you. You're getting knowledge or a skill from somebody. But study, you spend time learning about something. Okay, so Russell is studying economics in college. He is studying economics in college, okay, himself. That's great. So now let's go back to page 64 and continue. 2. Pronunciation and speaking. The letter U. The letter U is usually pronounced U. For example, usually, or as in lunch, and sometimes as in true, or even as put, put. Okay? Put the words in the correct column. Let's go. Pause the video and do it. Great. Let's check your answers.
4.6 Boot Rude Rules Student True
Up. Lunch. None. Study. Subject.
Bull Full Put
You. future, music, uniform, university.
4.6. Boot. Rude.
Okay, so recording audio once again.
Four point six. Boot. Rude. Rules. Student. True.
Up, lunch, none, study, subject.
Bull. Full. Put.
You, future, music, uniform, university.
Excellent. So now you are going to practice saying these words, okay? What do we say a university but an umbrella? Do you know? Let's check your answers. So we use a when you at the beginning of a word is pronounced you, and in when it is pronounced a. Okay, this is the difference. So for example here, the words that we used here, for example, in in the beginning of the word, of course, okay, we are going to use an umbrella, for example, okay, and here you as uniform, university, we need to say a university, a uniform, okay. Great. Now you are going to listen and write 4 sentences. Let's go.
4.7. 1.
What subjects did you study in high school?
2.
Do students at your school wear uniforms?
3.
Most students have lunch in the cafeteria.
4.
I usually get good grades on my music exams.
Great. Listen again if necessary. Let's check your answers then. Great. So now we're going to do this interview. This practice here will be performed during our online class. So take a look at the questions and answer them about yourself, okay? Okay, so now 3, listening. In this activity, we are going to start here in letter A. Look at the photos above. What can you see? Now, read about Gareth Malone's extraordinary school for boys. In your country, are boys usually behind girls in reading and writing? All right. Now, you are going to listen to part 1 of a radio program about the experiment, and you are going to answer these questions about it, all right? Let's go.
4.8. Part 1.
Gareth had only 8 weeks for the experiment, during which time he would be teaching 3 days a week. His aim was to try to improve the boys' reading age by 6 months. On the other 2 days, the boys would have normal classes with the girls. His plan was based on his own experience of being a learner and from talking to educational experts. He had 3 main principles. First, that it was essential to make the work feel like play. If I can do that, the boys will learn, said Gareth. The second principle was competition. Gareth says, boys absolutely love competition. It has gone out of fashion in many schools, but I think it's really important. Boys have to learn to lose and to fail, and to come back from that. If you've never done that until you go for your first job interview and don't get the job, then you've got a problem. The third thing Gareth thought was important was to allow boys to take risks. All kinds of risks. Not just physical risks like climbing trees, but doing things like acting in front of other people. Doing things that are a little scary, but that are very motivating if you manage to do them.
Great. So you can check the listening script here for 4.8 in the listening script page at the end of your book, okay, if you think it is necessary. Let's check your answers. These are the answers. Great. Now, for activity C, you will listen to part 2 and you need to complete this chart here with this information.
4.9. Part 2.
When Gareth started, he made some changes to the way the children were learning. The boys spent a lot of time outside, and they had PE, physical education, every day before regular classes began. They even made their own outdoor classroom. Gareth also tried to involve the boys' parents as much as possible in their education, and he visited them at their homes on several occasions. Gareth set up 3 major activities for the boys to help improve their language skills. The first activity was a school debating competition against the girls. The topic that the children had to debate was computer games should be banned. When they started to prepare for the debate, the boys weren't very enthusiastic. But soon they started to get more involved. In the end, the girls won the debate, but the boys had learned to argue and make points to express themselves better. They were disappointed not to have won, but they wanted to do it again. Next, Gareth organized a Reading World Cup, where the boys had to read in teams. Some of the boys couldn't read very well, but they all got very excited about the World Cup and became much more enthusiastic readers. There was a prize for the winners, and this really motivated the boys. Finally, the boys, working with the girls, had to write their own play and perform it at the local theatre. The play they wrote was about Romans and aliens. All the children, boys and girls, worked really hard, and although some of them felt very nervous before they performed the play, it was a great success, and the boys especially were thrilled. Gareth said afterwards, "It was a risk, and it was scary, but it was good scary."
Very nice. So listen again if necessary. Okay, let's check your answers. These are the answers. So now, in letter D, listen again. How successful were the 3 activities? Now, in letter E, you will listen to part 3 to find out what the result of the experiment was. Did the boys' reading improve? Let's go.
4.10. Part 3.
The boys had a great time with Gareth as their teacher. But at the end of the 8 weeks, had their reading really improved? In the last week of the quarter, they had to take their national reading exams. The exams were independently marked, and when the results were announced, the boys had made great progress. All of them had improved by 6 months, and some of them had advanced the equivalent of 2 years in just 8 weeks.
Wow, great. So now answer the questions. Let's check them. All right. So what do you think of Garrett's ideas? Do you think they are appropriate for girls? Are any of them used in your country? If you go to YouTube, you can find the video for this experiment here. It's really nice. Just type up Gareth Malone's School for Boys on YouTube and you will find more about it, all right? Now, speaking, this activity will be performed during our online class, okay, but you can get ready for them. So read on the topics, decide your point. Here, there will be a debate, okay? These are topics for debate. So you need to organize your ideas. And here we have some ideas on how you can do it. And afterwards, you're going to explain to the rest of the group what you think about your topic, okay? So be ready to do this activity for your online class. Great. Moving on, next page, 66. We are now going to start with the grammar activities here. First conditional and future time clauses with when, until, etc. So, to start with, can you answer these questions? Okay, so now activity B. Listen to Olivia and Husang, who are waiting for their exam scores, and answer the questions.
4.11.
What test did you take?
I just took the main parts of the SAT, the Scholastic Aptitude Test. The critical reading, math, and writing parts.
Do you think you did well?
I'm pretty sure I did okay, but I'm worried about what scores I'll get.
Why?
Because I want to be a doctor, and I want to get into a pre-med program at one of the big universities, like maybe the University of California. They probably won't admit me unless I get a 2100 or higher.
Do you think you'll get them?
I don't know. I think I did okay, but I'm a little worried about math.
When will you get your results?
They'll go online next week. Believe me, as soon as they're online, I'll look up my scores.
And how will you celebrate if you get high scores?
I don't want to plan any celebrations until I get the results.
What will you do if you don't get the scores you need?
I don't want to think about it. If I don't get into a good college, my parents will kill me. No, I'm joking. I suppose I could apply to some schools that don't require such high scores.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Great. Now answer the questions here. And now we are going to listen to next one.
4.12.
What exam did you take?
The TOEFL. That's the test of English as a foreign language.
Was it difficult?
Well, not really, but I need at least 550 to get into a college. One of the schools I've applied to requires 640.
Do you think you'll get it?
I think so. I'm optimistic. I think I did pretty well.
When will you get the results?
When they score the tests, they'll mail the results. It takes about 6 or 7 weeks.
How will you celebrate if you get a high score?
I'll go out for dinner with my girlfriend.
And what will you do if you don't get a high enough score? Will you continue studying English?
Yes, of course. I need it. I'll continue studying and I'll take the test again in June.
Good luck.
Okay, so now let's check your answers. Okay, we have here the answers about Olivia and then the answers about Wusung. Great. Fantastic. Now, exams. Exam scores can be given as numbers, usually out of 10 or 100, or as letters A, B, C, D, okay, F. College grades are usually given in numbers out of 100. High school grades are usually given in letters: A plus, A minus, etc. All right? Great. Continuing here now, activity C. You will listen and complete the sentences.
4.13. 1.
They probably won't admit me unless I get a 2100.
2.
As soon as they're online, I'll look up my scores.
3.
I don't want to plan any celebrations until I get the results.
4.
If I don't get into a good college, my parents will kill me.
5.
When they score the tests, they'll mail the results.
Listen again if necessary. Let's then check your answers. These are the answers. Okay, fantastic. Now, in letter D, listen to Olivia and Musan. What scores did they get? What are they going to do?
4.14.
Olivia, I can see from your face that the results weren't exactly what you wanted. Am I right?
Yeah. I got a 700 on critical reading, but only 620 on math.
So what are you going to do now?
Well, my reading score was pretty good, so I'm going to wait and see if one of the universities I want will still accept me. If not, I'll try to find other schools that will take me.
Were your parents angry?
No, they've been really nice about it. They know how disappointed I am. Besides, it's not like my scores were really bad.
Well, Woo-sung, how did you do?
I got a 650. I'm really, really happy. It's even better than I expected.
So have you booked the restaurant?
Yes, well, my girlfriend has. We're going to my favorite place, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Great, so now let's check your answers. Okay, fantastic. Let's move together to page 144 now to Grammar Bank. So first conditional and future time clauses plus when, until, and other words, okay? Let's start here with these examples for the first conditional. Listen to these examples and repeat them.
4.15. 1.
If you work hard, you'll pass your exams.
The boss won't be very happy if we're late for the meeting.
2.
Come and see us next week if you have time.
3.
Allison won't get into college unless she gets good grades.
I won't go unless you go too.
Então, aqui para a gente entender o primeiro condicional e futuro, né? Com as orações de tempo, né? Como when, until. Vamos ver aqui então alguns exemplos. We use the first conditional sentences to talk about a possible future situation and its consequences. Então, o primeiro condicional, ele é para falar sobre ações que nós podemos fazer agora no presente e suas possíveis futuras consequências, ok? Ou situações futuras como consequência. Nós usamos então geralmente aqui na frase do if, o verbo tem que estar no presente. A segunda frase vai estar, portanto, no futuro. You will pass if you work hard. Então, se você fizer isso hoje, no presente, isso vai acontecer para você como consequência, ok? Nós também podemos usar o imperativo ao invés de will, né? Por exemplo, come and see us next week if you have time. Então, come and see us aqui como imperativo, tá? If you have time. Lembrando que o imperativo substitui a oração do will, da consequência, né? Da situação futura, tá? Nós podemos usar também unless, a menos que, unless, no lugar de if, tá? I won't go unless you go too. Então, eu não vou se você não for também. Unless, tá? Aqui outro exemplo. She won't get into college unless she gets good grades. If she doesn't get good grades, é uma outra opção que você pode usar, né? Unless ou if, ok? Lembrando novamente que é possível inverter a ordem das orações, né? Começar com a frase no presente ou começar com a frase já no futuro, dando a consequência, tanto faz. Diferente que quando nós começamos com a frase do if, né? Nós devemos usar uma comma, né? Uma vírgula. Quando a gente começa com a frase da consequência, né? A gente não precisa usar a vírgula, ok? Very well. Então, aqui nós vimos a parte do first conditional, né? Agora aqui algumas future time clauses, né? São algumas orações que nós usamos também, remetendo ao futuro, né? Sem necessariamente usar will. Let's listen and repeat.
4.16.
As soon as you get your test scores, call me.
We'll have dinner when your father gets home.
I won't go to bed until you come home.
I'll have a quick lunch before I leave.
After I graduate from college, I'll probably take a year off and travel.
Ok? Então, aqui nessas frases, nós estamos usando palavras aqui como as soon as, assim que, né? As soon as you get your test scores, assim que você tiver o resultado do seu teste, me liga. Veja que o verbo aqui, call me, está no presente. As soon as you get, aqui ó, também, né? No presente. As soon as you get your test scores, call me. Aqui então como um imperativo, né? We will have dinner when your father gets home. Então aqui ó, como eu estou usando when your father gets home, o verbo também no presente. I won't go to bed until you come home. Né? Então eu não vou para a cama, não vou dormir até que você venha para casa, né? Come home. I will have a quick lunch before I leave. Então, eu vou almoçar rapidinho antes de sair. Before I leave. Note que os verbos depois dessas future time clauses, né? Elas estão com o verbo no presente, né? Use the present tense, not the future. After, when, as soon as, until, before, and after, to talk about the future, ok? Então, depois de falar sobre o futuro, se você for usar essas future time clauses, o verbo tem que estar sempre no presente, ok? Now, we are going to do some exercises. A. Complete with the simple present or future with will. Pause the video and do it. Okay, checking your answers. B. Circle the correct word or expressions. And checking your answers. Great. Let me know if you have any problems trying to work the exercises out, okay? Going back to page 66, now we have letter F. You are going to answer these questions here. Make full sentences. Great. Now, in communication, you will find this activity here, 3 in a row. We are going to play in our online class, but you can take a look at it so you can try to do it. Okay, this is the activity 3 in a row. Right, now moving on to 6. We have now a reading and speaking activity. Read the article once. What is a tiger mother? So read it and try to answer. This is the article. Great. So here, checking your answers. Okay, great. Now, after you read this article, let's answer these questions here. Read the article again and put the phrases A through 8 in the correct places. So there are some gaps in this article, which you should fill out with one of these phrases. Do it. Okay, let's check your answers. These are the answers. Fantastic. Let's now focus on the highlighted words. Try to figure out their meanings. Look up a dictionary if necessary. Great. Now, you will read 3 responses that were posted after the article was published. Do you agree with any of them? So read them and see if you agree with any of them. Okay. Fantastic. Now, this speaking practice will be performed during our online class. So read the questions and try to think about your what you think about them, what your opinion is. Okay. Now, about make and let. After make and let, we use the base form of a verb. My parents made me work very hard. They didn't let me go out during the week. This is an important tip for you, okay? Fantastic. So now we are going to move to the workbook. Lesson 6B in the workbook corresponds to pages 40 to 42, okay? Do these activities in order to practice what you learned. And now I will play this listening audio here so you can do these exercises.
File 6B. Listening.
Hello and welcome to today's program. Have you ever wondered how women made themselves look beautiful in the past? Our beauty expert Olivia Johnson is with us today, and she's going to tell us all about beauty through the ages. Olivia, where are you going to start?
Well, I'm going to start with the Egyptians, but it wasn't only women who used cosmetics at this time. Both Egyptian men and women loved their cosmetics. We know that from the paintings and the powders they left behind. The women wore a powder on their faces to make their skin lighter, and they painted a big black line around their eyes to make them look bigger. Men put a cream made of fat and oil and other substances on their face to protect it from the sun. A very early version of sunscreen. Egyptian kings and queens also put colorful powders around their eyes. Their favorite color was green, which they got from a mineral called malachite.
How interesting. Who are you going to tell us about next?
Okay, let's move on to the ancient Greeks. Cosmetics were an important part of their life, too. The ancient Greek idea of beauty was very pale skin, blonde hair, and natural makeup. For them, pale skin was a sign of beauty and wealth. The women used a powder made out of a metal called lead to make their faces look lighter.
You mean lead? The lead that used to be in the pipes carrying the water in our houses?
That's right.
But lead is poisonous.
Yes, it is. And the ancient Greeks knew lead was poisonous. But it was so important for them to be beautiful that they used it on their face, and of course, it made them sick.
I can't believe they used lead on their faces. Anyway, who's next on the list?
The Romans. They were absolutely obsessed with beauty. A Roman philosopher once wrote, "A woman without paint is like food without salt." So it's clear that they really believed that women should wear a lot of makeup. The Romans believed that pink on the cheeks was a sign of good health, but they did not apply the makeup themselves. Instead, they used their servants to put on their creams and powders.
So the servants were like modern makeup artists then?
Yes, I guess you could say that.
I think I prefer putting on my own makeup. Olivia Johnson, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
That's it. Thank you for watching. See you next video. Bye bye.